Anytime.
Thanks, Patrick. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Tim,
Hey,
thank you
thanks
for
for
being
doing this.
here. So could you guys please both tell me what your roles were in this film?
Well, we both shot, directed, and produced the film Restrepo.
And what is the film about?
The film is about a platoon of combat infantry in a remote valley in Afghanistan. It's a picture of life as a combat soldier, really outside of the political conversation about war. It's purely about their experience. There was a huge amount of combat out there. They were in something like 500 firefights over the course of their year. And we spent a lot of time with them and really became part of the platoon.
So then when you were sent off to Afghanistan the first time as a team and never worked together before, how long were you there?
We did a total of 10 trips, 5 each for about a month. So we made a total of about 10 months of filming because we were sometimes together, but more often not that we were apart. And so yeah, we did, yeah, it was kind of a long, the duration of the deployment was 15 months. But I mean, you gotta remember, we were stuck on the side of a mountain in a tiny outpost. I mean, that's a long time to spend, initially without any running water and electricity up there. So the conditions were pretty extreme, and you gotta kind of like somebody to spend a lot of time with them there. And I was still nice about it. It was kind of, because it was a bit like doing prison time.
Yeah, it was. There was no phone or internet up there. There was no cooked food. It was extremely isolated, and you know the outpost was getting attacked on some days, 3 or 4 times in a day. So it was very intense.
So when you were first sent there and Vanity Fair said, we want you guys to go be embedded with a group of, with a group of guys, when you got there, did you sort of change the idea of what they wanted you to do? And you know what I'm saying? Like, when you first went there, what they told you to do and then what you ended up doing, was it a little different at all? Like how it turned into the film?
The film was our own project. We were giving footage to ABC News and they used it for ABC Nightline, but the film was our own thing, and the way it evolved was really a reflection of the circumstances up there. We did not want to make a political film. We wanted to make a film about what it's like to be a soldier. The soldiers don't talk about politics. They don't have access to generals sort of saying, so why are we in the Korengal Valley? So we never interviewed a general because the soldiers couldn't. We really kept it exclusively about them in that valley.
Why did you decide that being embedded for an entire deployment was something that you really wanted to go after?
I'd been going to Afghanistan since 1996. I've done a lot of reporting from among the Afghan population. I was there in 2001 when Kabul fell, when the Taliban regime collapsed. The Afghans were just incredibly joyful and grateful that the U.S. had come in and destroyed that regime. And I was really kind of surprised when the U.S. left only 15,000 soldiers there to keep the peace. It fell apart very quickly, and I realized, wow, this isn't going to be the 3-week war that it could have been. It's going to be much, much longer. So in 2005, I thought, okay, soldiers from my country are now operating long-term in a country that I care a lot about. I really have to understand what it's like on the other side being with the U.S. military.
Hey, Roger, I'm up here by 034 and we're scanning. And if we have to, we'll move to contact. I got myself, Regal, and Thomas over here. Okay, Roger, so it's coming from 1705 and 00. We should be firing on those here right now.
Hang it! Fire! Fire!
I think everybody gets a little desensitized when they watch like a war movie and you see the bullets flying around and whatever. And when you were actually in it and all of a sudden your life was on the line because you're so close with these guys, did that change something about you at all?
So that's the first thing. And so seeing those things some of those things do stay with me. Like in our film, you see what it's like, a guy gets killed and one of his friends almost like have a mental breakdown. I mean, I make this kind of footage, that's what I do for a living, and I haven't seen that before. I've only ever seen one Humvee being blown up before. Sebastian was in the other one. So there's stuff in this film that you don't normally see in news reports from TV. And so filming that, I know when you got blown up in the Humvee, it was that's an affecting experience. And I broke my leg in a combat operation where lines were being overrun, that was a pretty extreme experience, and that stayed. I mean, I was operated on in Bagram, and then came back to finish the film. So those were pretty extreme experiences, and the soldiers, of course, they go through stuff. So, but you know, it's like everybody experiences trauma in their life, whether you're in a war or if have a very bad divorce or if you're in a car crash, and you know you get up and you dust yourself off and you get on with stuff as best you can. And we've been doing it for a long time, you know, and it's a bit like we're probably the equivalent of being kind of like sergeants in a platoon. We've done our times. We have a bit of experience and we know how to continue going ahead with the job. And Afghanistan was a culmination of all experience. In some ways, Restrepo was a distillation of what we've learned and understood about war, and more. And the and more bit, I guess, was understanding a lot more about motivation of the soldiers and their kind of life, because they welcomed us in.
Even though the Humvee blew up, and thank God you weren't hurt, that never stopped you from wanting to keep going. That's pretty amazing. So
No, it had an effect on me, but I didn't let the effect affect me, if that makes sense.
And then I read a comment that one of you said that the camera, when you were holding the camera, that was sort of keeping you from being afraid, or you were able to keep going?
I think for soldiers as well, having a job to do in combat is very reassuring, and it allows you to focus on that job and to not think about what could happen to you. And so our job was to shoot video. And once I was caught without my camera, I couldn't get to it. There was too much gunfire, and that was probably the most scared that I was. Caught me by surprise, and I sort of like went a little blank for 30 seconds. Otherwise, we were trying to do our job, and that there was a real kind of refuge, psychological refuge in that.
And what would you think the takeaway from this movie should be, that once people watch it, what do you hope people will think about it?
I hope that, I think the film is a really visceral experience of war, like you haven't seen before. And it's real, obviously. And, I think that we made the film because we thought, regardless of your politics, whether you agree with the war, you don't agree, that the experience of the soldiers should be the least we can do. If we're going to, on taxpayer dollars, send these young men out there to be the sharp end of American foreign policy, at least we can do is sit in the cinema for 94 minutes and digest their experience and try to go as close as we can to that experience, and in some ways kind of honor it, and then use that as a starting place to have a more constructive dialogue about the war. Because at the moment it seems very removed and full of partisan politics and very detached from the reality on the ground.
And are you proud of what you made?
Yeah, we're very, very proud of it. Yeah, tremendously so. And the soldiers are. We've shown it to the soldiers, to their families. They're very proud of it, and that is a tremendously good feeling.
And is this your first time at SIFF?
Yes, it is.
My first time in Seattle.
Really?
Yeah, it's like Manchester.
Oh.
It's raining and grey and has that kind of lovely warmth that I get from the north of England. It's very, very nice.
Oh, we're happy to have you guys here. I'm very happy that this film was made. It's very important. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank
Thanks.
you so much. Thank you.